Good morning.
Good morning.
So we thought to really give you a flavor of some of the things that we are doing. And like I was sharing with you,
Right.
we are using technology as much as possible. And this is one piece of technology that we have put in place so as to make sure that all our campuses, our 4 campuses, are fully connected and integrated in every possible way. So before I say something else, let me introduce you to our colleagues. Professor Raghunathan, he's the director of the Pilani campus.
Right.
He's joining us from Professor Sundar.
Okay.
He's deputy director.
Right.
He looks after what we call the work integrated learning programs. And there are 20,000 working professionals who are very quickly.
Yeah, on my left, I'll start from here. Professor Sunil Bhan, Head of Department Chemistry. Professor Utpal Roy from Biology, he heads the department. Professor Srikanth, I think if you can introduce yourself.
So I am a faculty from Biological Sciences Department.
In charge of Community Welfare Division. I'm Anuradha, I'm the librarian here.
I'm Dr. looking after the medical facilities.
I'm Devira from Computer Science.
I'm Prasanjay Kumar from Department of Management.
I'm HD Manzre, madam. I'm looking after RS.
I'm Divakar Chakravarti. I'm with biology.
We meet very often with faculty, heads of departments, any issue with process. And science, engineering, pharmacy, transportation, all the undergraduate.
I'm very happy that BITS is true to its earlier standard, being the first mover in terms of leveraging technology, in terms of trying to ensure that this human capital, which is so scarce, is tried to be leveraged or benefited for as many people as possible. And once again, congratulations for the great job that all of you are doing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'd just like to congratulate all of you for the excellent work that's been done. My congratulations to Dr. Jain and all the facilities that you have for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see them every day, Professor Jain. I see you every day.
But you might have a
I
message.
might
You
just-
might have a message for
Well,
the distinguished guest as well.
The
as,
message is
our
really,
colleagues
the
from
message
both.
is really, I mean, I consider myself as part of you more than as part of anybody else. But, and especially Mrs. Bhatia and Mrs. Hatan, it's really, really wonderful that you have taken the time, the effort to come down. It means a lot to the faculty, it means a lot to all of us. And may I just add to my senior colleagues here to say a very, very deep appreciation.
So welcome to Honorable Minister, Mrs. Bhatia, Pro Chancellor, Mrs. Kritan, Member Board of Governors, and Judge Body. We are indeed thankful to you for taking time and coming over here and spending the next 2 to 3 hours and sharing your thoughts with our faculty. This is an young campus which started in 2008. Actually, the inspiration and the support that you are going to extend will really matter in the growth of this campus. Thank you once again. Time is there, sir.
Should I introduce you to Professor Raman? He's the director of the Goa campus. And Professor Maheshwari, he is the former vice chancellor as well.
Okay.
So most of the work that you see is actually a consequence of his effort and that of his predecessor.
Dr. Vamsi Veluganti, Head of the Department of Pharmacy. He is Dr. Chandu Parini, Head of the Department of Civil Engineering. Dr. Gurulaj, he is the Head of the Department of Computer Science and Information Systems. She is Dr. Lalita, Head of the Department of Economics and Management. He is Dr. Kannan Ramaswamy, Head of the Department of Physics. He is Dr. M. Srinivas. He is the faculty in charge of academic registration and counseling. And he is Dr. Vyudhartha Mishra, Head of the Department of Mathematics. She is Dr. Sumitra, Head of the Department of Chemistry. He is Dr. YVD Rao, Head of the Department of Mechanical Engineering. He is Dr. Vadrevu Ramakrishna, Head of the Department of Biological Science. Dr. Chittaranjan Bhuta, he is the Head of the Department of Computer. He is a faculty in charge of the entire networking system here. And he is Dr. K. Srinivasa Raju. He is a professor and he is in charge of Center for Water, Excellence in Water and Wastewater. She is Professor Yogeshwari. She is a professor in charge of sponsored research.
Oh, okay.
He is Professor, Professor N. Rajesh. He is now Professor, formerly Head of the Department of Chemistry. Professor P. N. Rao, Professor of Civil Engineering. Professor Yoganandam, he is the Head of the Department of all EE departments like EEE and E&I, Electronics and Instrumentation, and Electronics, Communication and Engineering. Professor K. Raman, whom you have already met, he is the Director of KK Birla Goa campus. Professor of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. And she is Professor Suman Kapoor. She is Dean of International Cooperation and Collaborations and Professor of Biological Science. He is Professor Regalla Srinivas, Professor of Mechanical Engineering and the Professor in charge of Faculty Affairs. And he is Professor D. Sriram, Professor of Pharmacy. He is Professor Addepalli Ramu. He is a Professor of Mathematics. He is Dr. Shauri Banerjee. He is Professor of Physics and he is also faculty in charge of International Cooperation and Collaboration. Professor Vidya Rajesh, Professor of Biological Science, and she is the faculty in charge of Academic Research Division. And Professor Swaminathan, he is Professor of Biological Science, and he is Professor Thiruvikraman, Professor of Physics. He is Professor Vasan, Professor of Civil Engineering. She is Professor Mrs. Raman. She is the Professor of Languages, Humanities and Management in KK Birla Goa campus. And he is Mr. Jeevan Jaiti.
Okay.
He is a Professor of Mechanical Engineering. Professor M.S. Radhakrishnan. He is a Mathematics Professor. He was in Pilani for several years. And he is Professor Vinayak Rao, Civil Engineering, and he is the faculty in charge for admissions. She is Dr. M.G. Prasuna. She is in English. And he is Professor Michael Alphonse. He is Professor of Mathematics and also faculty in charge of our academic instruction. And she is Madhuri Bhaiya. She is in Electrical and Electronics Engineering. Dr. KVG Chandrasekhar. He is the Associate Dean for our practice school and work integrated learning program. You have already met our registrar.